live. I've been dying to use my little movie set thing. So there, I used it without dying. I'm going to start out with doing my please share the video, subscribe to the channel if you feel like it, and check to make sure you're still subscribed if you have been a subscriber. Some people have been getting unsubscribed. So ring your notification bell if you like to be notified when a live is coming on or the video is posted. Last but not least, please hit that like button. Yeah, you guys, it's a national holiday. So, of course, I am just thrilled to have an extra amount of time to come on to a live with you guys. Um, and nobody's here. I'm all by myself. Really? That's fine. Oh, Bex, happy Monday. Thanks for saying hello. You are the first. And I hope Pixie Knickers comes in because Pixie Knickers, I need your email address again. If you're watching this on the replay or if you're lurking, some reason, hey Annie Ruler, hola. For some reason, I did not get Pixie Knickers' email with her address. Blonde Gypsy, happy Labor Day. You guys are so awesome. All right. Happy Labor Day to everybody. Let me do my disclaimer because I'm going to say some crazy shite today. Yeah, promise. Fingers are not crossed. But there's just too much going on. Things need to be said. And, sometimes I like to try to be careful and say things kind of mildly, and other times not so much. I just want to go for the shock value or the reality, the potential reality. Everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of conversation. I'm always hoping to open up a discussion. I thank you guys so much for being here with me. All my videos to date are made specifically for YouTube, which is an entertainment platform. J-Ron, a boomer, love and light. So should I just dive right into the insanity of Maui, Lahaina. Did I say it right? Um, I've got so many questions. I woke up this morning, I've been trying to like chill out on the whole Hawaii conspiracy theory thing because it seems insane, right? And it is. But I'm 100% convinced that it was a plot and a plan. Mark Molina, happy weekend. I know, 3-day weekend, huh? So I have about a million questions concerning the Maui fires, you guys. My first question is, how did this police chief from Vegas get interested in working in Hawaii, getting the position? Why? The first time that they're not a local, to my understanding, and there's a whole, but I want to keep up with you guys. I like your zombie thing, Jay Rana. That's funny. Um, and of course, the notes that I had are probably set down in some random place because I've got a few sets of notes. And I mean, really, that's the biggest question I have. Oh, wait, one more. Why was the position open? The police chief position. It was 2 years ago, December 15th, that this John Pelletier was appointed. Was the previous police chief let go? Did they retire? Did they move on to greener pastures? What happened? Why was the position opened? But why in the world would they fill it with a non-native if they had a history of always filling it with locals, with people who knew the culture well and the community trusted? I have so many questions, you guys. So I also have questions, of course, for my other two cases that I'm highly hyper focused on. Kylie Rodney, there's her cute little Christmas tree ornament, and Well, I've got the Gabby Petito pumpkin, but that's not the case I was going to talk about. The Idaho 4. You guys know that. Wouldn't you want to get out of Vegas and go to Hawaii? Well, of course, but why in the world would the people of Maui think that a guy who was in charge during the worst devastation of a live shooter, why would why on earth would that person get selected? Like that is mind-boggling. I mean, everybody wants to go to Hawaii, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to go and work in paradise and make a six-figure salary? Uh, I can't imagine anybody that wouldn't personally. I mean, I'm sure there's a few people that wouldn't, but I don't know if I've ever met anyone in my lifetimes that would fit into that category. And Vegas, I mean, come on, like, can you think of a place that could potentially be more crooked? Like, I don't know, Reno or Truckee. Susan, hello. So I don't know, J. Rana Boomer. I'm kind of suspicious why you'd ask that question. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. Um, like, who wouldn't want to get out of Vegas, period? And who wouldn't want to go to Hawaii? I mean, we all know the movie and the song Leaving Las Vegas, right? I mean, a amazing Sheryl Crow song, and then also a insanely depressing Nicolas Cage movie. Insanely depressing. That's a better question. Okay, now I'm trusting you again. I mean, it's so hard to trust each other on YouTube, is it not? I mean, you guys, if you trust me, I thank you, but I always want to encourage a healthy skepticism because I could be wrong. I could be in left field. I could be straight up lying, which, I won't, and I don't, and I haven't. Anytime I've said anything, it's 100%, you guys, and knock on wood, because um, at least 100% that I thought I was being true and accurate. Of course, there's been times when I've looked things up afterwards and realized that I misquoted or misstated. Oftentimes, you get recruited after showing your skills. Annie, oh, that is so freaking sinister. Are you saying that you are hypothesizing that maybe John Peltier was recruited to Hawaii because he showed a skill set that was not not what most of us would call stellar? I only trust my dog, Mark. I am with you. Animals and kids. You can usually trust kids. Well, first of all, because they're not really good liars. So if they're not telling the truth, you can usually spot it. But as far as just like being in touch with their own emotions, kids are usually really good at that. And as far as adults, sometimes we can be very removed from our true feelings. So, where are the freaking kids in Maui, you guys? Where are the freaking kids? I am so freaked out about this. Today is September 4th. We are almost an entire month out from the Lahaina fires. Okay. Um, the American Red Cross just stated, I think the day before yesterday, that they're going to step up and pay for every single funeral of people that perished in the awful, epic fires. I'm not going to say forest fires because I don't believe that they were. But why would they take a month to come to their senses and make that kind of offering? I don't want to be sounding ungrateful because, of course, these funerals are insanely expensive. I think to the tune of like $10,000. Everything in a place like Maui is insanely expensive. Like you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to pay $10 for a latte. Same thing in Alaska. Everything is shipped in, you guys. Every single thing is shipped in. You are between a rock and a hard place. whatever the price is that people ask, you basically have to suck it up and pay it. So these funerals, even cremations, $10,000. Like I paid for my mother's funeral a year and a half ago. It was nowhere near that. It was a couple thousand. It was a couple $1,000s. Why would it cost $10,000 to cremate someone in Maui? And the person, I'm sorry, I mean, they're already halfway there or all the way there. I don't know. It's crazy, but it's even crazier to me that it took the American Red Cross almost an entire month to step up and say, "Oh, we will pay for this for people." Like after the president offers an entire 700 whole dollars to each household, and then a couple of days after the movie stars offer $1,200, I think that was to each individual that qualifies monthly, 1,200 bucks. I believe that that's what The Rock and Oprah offered. But I'm still skeptical. Like, I don't trust any of these people, you guys. I do not trust anything about the Lahaina fires. Okay, let's keep up with you guys. Isn't it a coinky dink that Elvis did a movie called Blue Hawaii and Viva Las Vegas? Oh my goodness. Now that's just a little too cosmic there. Um, I've been wrong a time or two and lying I try, but I'm so bad at it. You know, yeah, it's just not worth it. Not everyone, you can't be transparent with everything in your personal life. Not everyone is entitled to know your business. And saying whatever you need to say to keep your privacy that you're entitled to is fine. However, when you are in the government, when you are law enforcement, when you are dealing with public safety, you are required to be transparent. During an investigation, law enforcement has a lot of leeway with that, but they're a government entity, and our government is legally bound and required to be transparent. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't recommend telling a falsehood, but if it's something that's private to you and somebody is pressing you, you have every right to say whatever it is that you need to say to keep your privacy. That's just life. I learned that when I worked in a psychiatric facility, and I'll tell you a little story about that in a second. Chief maybe cooperated for the organization in Vegas, got promoted. Oh my goodness, Annie, stop it. I'm kidding. You're just like so sharp and on it. I was thinking it could be something like that too. I'm also worried about the kids. No one is saying a word. I'd be screaming from the rooftops. And are they still stuck at 115 for their total count of passing away individuals? Um, one second. Let me write something down. Okay. Let's see. Happy Labor Day, Sunset Salty Sage. Pixie Knickers, I need your address again. Can you email me again? I did not get it for some reason. So Justice, ATOOZ at gmail.com. So please send me your address again. And you said you sent it and I hadn't seen the email, and for some reason I can't find it. Um, so what'd you miss? Army for Jesus? Let's see. Some crazy stuff. Just some crazy stuff, don't worry. So far, just the Hawaii, the Maui situation. Hawaii's maybe laid back, but I can't see them being timid and accepting of their missing, especially their future, their children. Yeah, they are laid back, but yeah, they are fierce when it comes to protecting themselves and their culture and their land and their families. They're absolutely ferocious in that kind of self-defense. Um, let's see. Did you hear about Oprah's BS about the $10 million donation. She's not donating it. She's opening up a charity for us to donate to. Yeah, it's really unsavory. Absolutely poor taste. I thought that her and The Rock were putting some seed money in that might have been about $10 million, but she's a billionaire. He's close to having $1 billion. I looked them both up as far as what their net worth is. She's somewhere around 3 billion and he's close to 1 billion. So $10 million is not that much to somebody in a position like that. But then trying to get all of America to donate $5, $10, like, yeah, I think we all should be donating $5 and $10. But how about billionaires step up with more than just what would be chump change if you were a billionaire? Yes, you can email again. Thank you. That's a great name for her. Um, Spooling. Amen. Hey, Mega Pints and Muffins. Okay, so let me just share with you when I worked inpatient with folks that were committed for involuntary treatment, or even that were in a psychiatric facility because they felt like they wanted to, that they needed it to be safe and to get healthy. um, People would often ask, like, I don't want to have to tell people, I don't want to tell my neighbors, my friends, my employer that I've been in a psychiatric facility for 2 weeks. And I would tell them literally, you don't have to tell anybody where you were. You can tell them that you took a vacation. You can tell them that you took a staycation. It's nobody's business but your own. That's your medical information. And this was before HIPAA, right around the time that HIPAA was coming into play. But your privacy when it comes to your medical information, especially, but anything in your life, that's yours. You need to protect that. You don't put that on blast. You don't let people know things that, even something like having a condition, like, let's say, a heart condition. You might not want to share that information with people. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is how I've always thought my whole life. Everything you say can and will be used against you. There's always going to be somebody who's going to take your words and twist them around and weaponize them against you. Guaranteed. The people who do that are typically people with personality disorders. Just FYI, in case you didn't know. Okay. Let's see. She's not donating. She's opening up a charity for us to raise the money. But I thought they were seeding the charity. Yeah, the people's funds. And I got a lot to say about that. The way she kept doing this, like, that was weird. That was really like childlike, and just, you guys know what I'm talking about. The video that she made with The Rock, and she kept doing this, money in their hands. Like, yeah, we know what money in the hand means, Oprah. We don't need you to demonstrate like that. But why were they both wearing bright red? She had on a blazing bright red shirt with white pants. And then The Rock had on not such a blazing red t-shirt, but still red. Why were they wearing bright red? Does that have any kind of meaning? Question. Simply a question. Sunset Salty Sage has had a headache for about 18 hours. Drink a whole lot of water. Have you been drinking a whole lot of water? Um, Apparently 95% of headaches are from dehydration. Feels like my temples are in a vice. Wow. And that sounds like it could be like a migraine. I'm sure people in our chat have had migraines and can help you out with that. But yeah, I don't know if looking at a computer screen is going to be good and typing. So maybe just lurking might be better for dealing with that. I'm so sorry to hear that. That sucks. Oprah should be donating. I have a feeling she's not innocent here. Blonde Gypsy, she swooped in and bought hundreds of acres of sacred land immediately. Land that she's been trying to buy for a long time. No, I am very suspicious of all the land grabbing that's going on and all the rich elite that have been trying to pressure locals to sell their property. And yeah, my first instinct with this, when I heard about it and I heard about the blue things not burning and a bunch of other weird stuff, having been to Hawaii and knowing quite well this dynamic that's been going on for as long as those islands have become part of the United States of America. And still, they are part of the United States of America, but it's kind of like Puerto Rico. Like, I'm not so sure that it's complete. I think that what happened there warrants more than less than $1 billion of aid and help, much more. I was saying in one of my last videos that we can't think in millions anymore when it comes to crises like this. We're way past millions. We're in the billions phase. Um, Makes you wonder how much we have been word saladed by politicians, government, movie stars, philanthropists, etc. Well, and just to bring up again, when Biden said that he was going to keep laser focused on the recovery of Maui, I thought that was a really strange word choice, phrase, that made me really uncomfortable. Yes, drink a lot of water, salty sage, and I find that ice water is way more appealing than not ice water. So if I have ice in my water, I'll drink a lot more of it. I've wondered about language we do not know. Oh, are you talking about like keywords like secret meanings and stuff like that? Blood, Susan. Oh my goodness. I was gonna be like brain dead and say, "What?" But you're talking about the red. And I've noticed a few other people in the bright red too, and it makes me uncomfortable. And man, I hope you're not right. Like some people have said and questioned if this was a sacrifice. So twisted. When you're dealing with big money and famous people, you get a lot of what they call the cabal or deals with the devil. But I'm going to drink out of my Santa mug and I'm not having any hidden red blood meaning, okay? I do have a thing for Santa, and isn't this the cutest mug with the trees and the stars? So let's see. So Susan, thank you for saying that because that's probably right on the money. Good afternoon, Dana. Yes, go to sleep and sleep that headache off. Sleeping, maybe if you feel like taking a swim, if you have that ability to swim somewhere, or walking, or meditating, um, gardening. I'm trying to think of all the things that are the most relaxing for me. Like walking in the woods is always extremely relaxing. And yoga, of course, yoga is great. I wouldn't recommend trying to get on a bicycle or anything like that because that could be an issue with speed and balance. When I got my first COVID bad headache like that, ouch. When you contracted COVID or when you got your first vaccination, Annie Ruler? Yeah, those vaccinations were pretty hard to deal with in my experience. Hi, Justice and everyone. Has anyone seen the video of the car parked in the middle of nowhere and even the engine was melted like glass? Alistair Grant, yes, and thank you for bringing that up. So that was in one of Hawaii Real Estate's videos where he drove up, or no, actually they had to park kind of far away and hike over to where these two cars were parked off the road, and there was some fire, evidence of fire burning nearby, but not right up to the cars. Like the two cars were sitting on gravel and dirt that didn't have any evidence of being burned. And those cars were like melted. I mean, seeing the metal melted like little rivers on the ground, and then seeing the glass just melted straight down from the windows. And then to juxtapose that, nearby, there was an orange cone that was melted but not charred, just flattened. And then something else too, some other item was there. But that's the same spot where Eric West from that channel was driving by a couple days ago on his way to a funeral. And I think there were police stopped there. So he stopped to ask them why he wasn't allowed to, take photos and be in places like that. And they gave him a very hard time. And I think they had 5 police there in total by the end of it. And they were acting like they were going to arrest him for not having a front license plate. It's crazy. I'll put a link to that video in the description of this one later today. Um, but yeah, there's so many questions like that. And then I think we all know that fire can jump around, that it can hit one house and not another, and it can hit one car and not another. But we all know from this fire that things that were blue didn't burn. And if it's just a regular fire, I would think that they would burn no matter what color they were. But the theory is that things that are blue deflect lasers and the direct energy weapons. So these people that we were just talking about seem to have blue roofs on their homes, and their homes were 100% fine. So, coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence. So many, when you have so many stacked up, it's just not possible. Statistically, it's not possible. Um, so yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Alistair. Batshit crazy. Hello. Um, WEF move. Illumination, Annie? I don't know what WEF is. Um, let's see. Did I fall behind? How did that happen? I did fall behind. Let's stay caught up. 5 years ago, there was another fire similar to this one. Good idea. Thanks. I tried to sleep. Headache, too much to sleep. Could be right. Dehydration. Thanks again. Keep the light sun and sipping some colorful coconut water. Hey, Nico. Thanks for being here, everybody. And thanks especially for moderating. So creepy code words. Yeah, we have all heard of Oprah's alleged child trafficking in Africa, right? Well, and Annie, thank you for bringing up Africa again. I highly am suspicious of the Johannesburg fire that was 44 minutes, according to Google, 44 minutes away from her all girls leadership academy, and 80 extremely poverty stricken people perished in that apartment fire, apparently. Again, what a coincidence. Just a couple of days or a couple of weeks after the Maui. And then we've got like the Montesino fire. We've got too many fires where her property has been unscathed, and she's benefited in the end by acquiring a lot more of the property around her property. Seems like the end of summer innocents seem to be sacrificed. Travis Scott concert children passed. Sunset Salty. Yikes. Was that just 1 year ago or was that 2 years ago? I would have to look that up. Um, I want to say that was 2 years ago, right? The November, was it November 6th of 21? That again, they on the record said that there were 10 fatalities, and the youngest one was that 9-year-old kid. His last name was Blunt, I think. Um, if anybody knows and wants to type it in. But the people that were there reported that there were many more than that. And I am going to link in the description an interview with a rapper that Rich Lux did. This young rap star was present, and it was the first time I'd ever seen Rich Lux, and he was interviewing this kid, and it was pretty different in his description being there than it was in what was being reported. Let me try to stay caught up with you guys. So yeah, and let me write that down so I don't forget the what was the other video I said I was going to put in there? Sometimes I have to like rewatch my video to remind myself, what did I promise? Anyway, I need to stay caught up. But on autopsy, it appears Kylie drowned. Hey, Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G. Yeah, I wanted to get to our Ms. Kylie. I'm just so happy that people keep talking about her. People like you. Thank you so much. But I still know she wasn't how she got in the water. Now it's pointing to them putting Kylie in the water alive. Alive? Wait, but without the water in her lungs? Really? Because I thought that that pointed to her being put in the water after she wasn't breathing anymore. I've suffered with headaches and computer screens make them worse. Water is so important and sleep is what heals mine. Good luck. And vegetables, you guys. I cannot emphasize how important our veggies are for us. I don't think I got it, the COVID or those jabs. I kept away from all the humans though. Yeah, don't smoke. Yikes. Or vaping. I would think that that could be a trigger for headaches as well. And soda pop, you guys. Soda pop, the sodium and the sugar, really bad for headaches. Even the diet. But sparkling water is fine. Apparently, sparkling water is just as good as regular water if you like that, if that helps. Ice pack on back of the neck and sleeping it off. I get some nasty headaches sometimes. No fun. And I would think acupuncture could be great, that Google would have something for you, but have someone else Google it for you so you don't have to handle your computer and your screen. Nothing else appears burned. Contracted headache, no shots for me, just 3 heart conditions. What? Yikes. Like shot receipts, autoimmune. Ouch. Thank you. Trouble sleeping lately. Lay low and hydrating today is suggested. The candy cylindar. Oh, Susan, you're talking about the little candy thing in the engine of the car. That little like blue sucker. Yes, that is insane. And that's the other video that I was going to put in there. Thank you. Um, the blue candy, I'll know what that means. So those are the 2 videos I'm going to put links for. Um, and so, yeah, for anyone that doesn't make sense, that Hawaii real estate Eric West video, they found a little like lollipop in the engine when they were looking at the engine block that was cremated. And the candy was not cremated. The candy wasn't even scalded. I mean, and then before we go over to the Kylie Rodney case, I do want to finish talking about Eric West and his channel because I'm afraid that he's getting very threatened and maybe having to really back off of the great work that he's been doing because situations with his profession. So I hope not, but that's what it seems like. The Blue Devils Army for Jesus, that's a good one. Yikes. I've never followed conspiracy theories, but this one I can't ignore. You know, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory at all. It sounds like there were things that were happening for a long time before this fire to set it up, including, and I was going to read to you guys, but maybe I'll put it in a community post, the proclamation that the mayor made just a couple of weeks before in July of 2023, the proclamation that he can ignore whatever laws that he wants to when it comes to a natural disaster, as far as rebuilding. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing with trying to make this one of those like smart towns, smart cities, um, it's suspicious. I'd asked a fireman about that, and they said you can have wind and ember. That's all it takes. A little oil and car engines last melt because fire's really hot. I don't know that we've ever seen the liquefied metal like that, have we? I mean, I know I haven't. I don't know if you guys have. Um, Greetings from England. Hey, Jace. Maybe we aren't seeing the blue roofs that did burn. That's a good point, Jay Rana. It's always good to see it from both sides. But blue cloth umbrellas don't burn, just too weird. Right. And the t-shirts, all the people in poverty perishing. I hate to say it, but I know that a lot of times the wealthy elites see poverty-stricken people as like the equivalent as cockroaches. I mean, I do hate to say it, but I believe that that's true. Um, where were the blue roofs? What were the blue roofs made of, and where did they come from? Right. If they're metal, then, but again, we have all this other metal that melted. So seems nefarious and deliberate. FEMA have blue roof program. Um, and why would they have a blue roof program unless it's to protect from direct energy weapons and lasers and such? What is Nico saying about Astro World coming up on 2-year anniversary? Thank you for confirming that, Nico. There's just so much effery going on. Sometimes the brain becomes like a soup, and it all is like the same, like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Excuse me, I've got allergies today. Nico, yes. Yeah, that Astro World was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. There's a video about that other than the Rich Lux one that I'm gonna also put in. It's a channel about narcissists, and I'll just leave it at that. It's a video that breaks down the entire concert, and the woman who does it is her channel is all about like recovering from a relationship with a narcissist, basically. November 5th, 2021. Oh, thank you for correcting me. I was thinking it was the 6th because there were all the sixes with like someone was turning 66. Maybe their birthday was the following day, November 6th. Um, you're right. Justice for Kylie. Yes, and let's get into the Kylie case. We're, up past our eyeballs in the conspiracy of this awful Maui stuff. But we really need to look at that proclamation that the mayor made 2 or 3 weeks before this happened. And I think we also need to look at this police chief, what his history is, aside from Vegas. What other history does he have? And why the position that he filled was vacant almost 2 years ago. What was that process? Who else applied for the job? Um, so creepy that autopsy. So were we so detailed? We verbalized description of grooming, but organs, height, weight, placement of tattoo, all off. So weird and creepy. 100%. So sunset. Thank you. Yeah. And Mrs. G did a live again yesterday, and I was really happy to be listening to that while I was folding my laundry. So much laundry in my house. So I like to participate more and be able to read the chat and interact in the chat, but I was able to do that a little, but for the most part I had to stay laser focused on folding. Just to make a little joke there, not to be in poor taste. I wish I stayed away from the jab. Big regrets. I used to drink 12, 16-ounce cans of Coke a day. Now I love water. Praise the Lord. Praise God. Wow, that's a lot of Coke, even if it's Diet Coke, but especially if it's got the sugar in it. But even diet drinks, you really shouldn't have more than one a day because the sodium is what I've always subscribed to. I may be wrong on radius. Project 2030 is mentioned. Unsure if World Economic Forum, WHO. Annie, you are just like so far ahead of the game. I have a lot of challenge keeping up with you, and I appreciate you being here and putting this information into the chat. You're amazing. Project 2023 mentioned. Unsure if World Economic Forum, so that's the WEF. And then the UHO, and I need help there too. I can't help but I think about how blue roofs have always made me think of damaged roofs and blue tarps, which in town just about anywhere brings code enforcement to your door. Right. It is interesting that tarps have historically been blue, right? Um, what happened? Okay. In my opinion, Salty, I think it was a cry to get more attention on the case. Um, Interesting, Nico. So you're talking about the Kylie Rodney case there. So that you're thinking that maybe that was somebody trying to get people's attention to say, look, there's things that are wrong. Vaping is very hard on your lungs, even more than tobacco. I know, isn't that sad? Because at first it was marketed to help people get away from smoking, just like the gum, the Nicorette gum, the patches. And then some people would be so addicted to their nicotine that they would go ahead and smoke with the patches on, double dose. Sounds like COVID headache. Watch for mother symptoms. Yikes. Yeah, I know there's COVID coming back, allegedly, right? I quit booze 15 years ago, tobacco 8 years ago. I vape medication, cannabis, but I just beat skin cancer, fingers crossed. So it's great. Wow, Sunset Salty, thank you for sharing that. Congratulations. That's awesome. 15 years alcohol free, 8 years tobacco free, and now cancer free. So, yeah, I know that the cannabis is supposed to help with the nausea that can go with chemotherapy, right? I know there's other medicinal uses for it too. My new favorite color, blue. Nico's blue. I don't know. I'm suspicious of Nico now. It was an orchestrated targeted attack. Now, I know you're talking, I would think that you're talking about Maui, but I'm gonna just kind of, you were, you could be talking about Kylie too, right? 100%. And Idaho 4. My daughter has cherry malformation when she got tragus piercing in her ears and it helped her migraine. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, sometimes those ear piercings and the cartilage can hit acupressure points that are really unhealthy to hit. So you got to be careful with that. Um Sunset, I'm so happy for you. Praise the Lord. Just like the Patriot Act. Susan, you talking about tobacco and the Patriot Act? I'm a little confused. I'll go ahead and highlight that, but I'm gonna do my thing where I try to speed read to get caught up. But I'm drinking coconut water. It's delicious. Good. Good. But yeah, nothing can be substituted for just actual water sometimes. Sparkling water or just regular flat water. Um, but yeah, I know coconut water is very healthy. That's a good point. Sunset says to JR Boomer. Thanks very much, Army for Jesus. I appreciate that. One day at a time. Those blue roofs may be made of t-shirt fabric. You're funny, Nico. Very clever. Yeah, the fact that those t-shirts didn't burn, and the tarps or the umbrellas, the sunbrellas didn't burn. Flame resistant component. Well, most t-shirts wouldn't have a flame resistant component in them. Most t-shirts would be extra flammable. Hey, Bear of Love, lately pulling a little bit of hair on your head feels good. Oh, back in the day, I managed a medical clinic and I got into bloodletting because it helped. I would have the nurse draw a few vials. Wow, I've never heard of that for headaches. That's pretty wild. But yeah, just if kind of lowering the amount of blood in your system. Project FEMA volunteers that caught on. Protect FEMA volunteers that caught on. Interesting comment there, Annie. I'm curious about that. Hi Bear. Yes, Chris Jenner, 66. And wasn't her birthday November 6th? There were so many sixes. Um, and for anyone who doesn't know, Travis Scott, that's what that's referencing, the Astro World, he was baby daddy to one of the Jenner girls. You guys probably know, is it Kendra? I'm not sure. But I don't know if they're still together or not. At not an easy task. Army bless you. I Googled it because I thought it was summer. You were right, not me. Um, oh, are you talking about the November 5th Astro World? And it was the first big concert since COVID, you guys. Just like isn't the um Burning Man, isn't that Burning Man that's happening right now the first Burning Man since COVID? I'm not sure, but I think that it might be. Um and yeah, these gatherings where people just want to throw caution to the wind and go back to the way things were done pre-COVID, which wasn't that wise to begin with. Narcissistic Club, Illuminati, John Bonet parents, or ATT least John possibly. Wow. Ooh, Annie Ruler, so far ahead of the game. There were five went for the job, and he was the only non-islander. And why was it open? Can you look that up too, Alice Dare Grant? Thank you so much for that information. Five that went for the job, but were they all qualified? I mean, being an islander seems like it is one of their prerequisites, but that wouldn't being an islander by itself, of course, wouldn't qualify you for the position. You need to know your stuff. You absolutely need to know law enforcement and but knowing your resources, being a local is very important for positions like that. And just knowing the history and knowing the families and just knowing things in depth, not just what people tell you. Just like they have purple roofs in Truckee that have something special for winterizing. Oh, I haven't heard of that, Jayrana. The blue roofs are made by deep south metals and is something that benefits that climate. Interesting. That's fascinating. See, I'm so glad I went live. I was going to do a pre-recorded this morning, and then it was just taking me forever to get started. It's not morning anymore. So I thought, I'll just go ahead and do a live because it's so great to interact with you guys and you share so much great information. I appreciate it. Wow, we're already almost an hour, you guys. It's already like 48 minutes. That is nuts. 49 minutes. Time flies. You guys are so fun. Kris Jenner is a real life Disney villain. The secrets she keeps, I can't even imagine. Well, and just how the whole family got famous, how the Kardashians got famous was through the awful slaying that O.J. Simpson was accused of and then acquitted of, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. He went to the Kardashians' house after the white Ford Bronco chase. And he was sitting on Kim Kardashian's bed. She was a teenager at the time. he went into the house and sat on her bed to talk to her father. And Chris was best friends with Nicole. And allegedly, they all suspected him. Allegedly. So yeah, just the whole way that the Kardashians got famous. That I mean, obviously, Bruce Jenner was already extremely famous, but he'd kind of fallen into the background since his uh, heroic athleticism, athletic but not muscular, right? So let's get over to the Idaho 4 case after we finish talking about Kylie more, but I'm still trying to keep up with you guys. Sunset Foreshore, the autopsy being wonky, gotcha, Nico, the evil queen, code blue. No, the proclamation. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, that proclamation was July. And I am going to put that in a community post. What was the community post I put up yesterday? Um, oh, I can't remember it off the top of my head. If one of you guys wants to look and remind me, because I wanted to put up that proclamation also. Oh, I know what it was. It was the Tulsa, Oklahoma thing. That was the community post I put up yesterday or the day before. Um, the blue paint. We ended to check Google Earth and see if standard metal roofs or orange tile suddenly protected. Quite interesting, Alistair. Kylie Jenner and Travis S. Scott. Thank you. Did I say Kendall? Thanks, Nico. Yeah, I had no idea that Travis Scott was kind of a Kardashian vicariously through his baby daddiness with the Jenner chick. Bunch of oh, the super spreading event, Susan. Yeah, big concerts and Burning Man. um Jackus Webster is dude's real name. Travis is one of the sisters hubby's first names, and Scott was too, I think. Don't watch their show, but the media shows their trash down their throats. So why didn't anything blue burn up? Good question. Well, and like somebody had mentioned a few minutes back, maybe we just didn't see the blue things that burned up. It could be that there were blue things that burned, but they looked like everything else. It's a really good point. Just so you know, it's me. I sent my address from two different emails in case you didn't get it again. Thank you, Pixie. Awesome. Um, Good to know. Hello, everyone lurking here, trying to get little man to sleep. Hello, Mrs. Amirzaza. Um, WEF, World Economic Forum. I have no idea, Annie. Thanks for helping heal my pain. I appreciate that. It doesn't hurt as badly now. Hopefully, just from the water, right? Absolutely. Makes such a difference. I was trying to figure out if Mrs. G was onto something, what gas or something could affected Kylie's lungs like that. Reporter room explained lungs, so it made sense to me. Her friends didn't want her found. Um, right. So Mrs. G had a theory that maybe Kylie's lungs froze from nitrous oxide. For those who don't know, nitrous oxide is like something like negative 2000 degrees as a gas, and it's what's used for whipped cream canisters. So kids huff it and it makes them pass out. And before huffing it, they have to get it to be room temperature, which is normally putting it into a balloon or even a plastic bag or something like that when you release it from the canister. And I've heard stories of people inhaling it directly from the canister and their lungs instantly freezing and shattering. But anyway. Early in Kylie's case, I heard that X first on PC Planet regarding Astroworld just noted. Wait, what? Early in Kylie's case, I heard that X first on PC Planet regarding Astroworld just noted. Okay. So yeah, Popcorn Planet. It was a channel that did a lot of coverage of Astroworld, and probably Kylie's case too. I'm not 100% sure. Did you see AT admits BK was out before midnight? Ann Taylor and Brian Koberger, 11/13, so night of the 12th. The PCA word salad, car similar to the one ID'd as sus vehicle. Cover your arse. They knew it was not him. Okay, so I want to try to stay focused on Kylie's case and then segue over to that, Annie. Just because it does get a little confusing covering the three cases, and it's fine to jump back and forth. I'm more thinking about my viewers. I don't mind jumping back and forth, but I would think for people watching that they want more continuity. So, so yeah, the fact that these channels like Ninja Chihuahua, Squirrels on Fire, Army for Jesus, um, Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, and a handful of others continue to stay hyper focused on Kylie Rodney's case just makes me so happy. Things are not right in that case. If what we suspect is indeed accurate, then there's dangerous people in the general population that need to be um, put through our justice system, quite simply. So, so yeah, maybe we can just segue right there into Idaho since we're already almost at that hour mark. And your comment there is so good. Let me see. I thought I highlighted it, but maybe I didn't. Annie Ruler says, "Did you see Ann Taylor admits Brian Koberger was out before midnight, 11/13, so the night of the 12th. The PCA word salad car similar to the one ID'd as sus vehicle 1." Right, and that's important to note too, sus vehicle 1. Um, that kind of indicates that there's possibly more than one. CYA, they knew it was not him. And his car, not only was it the wrong year, but such a common car. They said they had 22,000 that they had to weed through. I don't believe that they weeded through 22,000 and where in the world they got that freaking number and all the twos in the case. Come on. Crazy. The so many bizarre things in that Idaho 4 case. Started 52 minutes ago. I missed it all. Sorry. Sunset Salty Sage. Glad you're feeling better. Sorry, off topic, but popped in brain. Oh no, you're fine. You got the good brain, Annie. We appreciate you. And like I love to say, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the replay crew as well as all of the folks here that are live. And where is my little, my big, creepy thumb? Please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. And let's see, where's my share, subscribe, ring your notification bell, cardboard thing that I made a while back. And then my newest prop, my should I do it at the end or should I just do it now? It makes the most satisfying sound. And I tried to write on it, but you can't really see. The chalk is too skinny and I didn't try to make it darker next time. Next time. I might start using that. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Mahalo. Yeah, that's what everyone says in Hawaii. Aloha and mahalo. So what's up with the land now at Burning Man feels like seeding cloud experiment. Well, and it could be a good way to get rid of a lot of fringe society. Just putting that out there. Burning Man is zero to me, just a distraction to be concerned. Oh, one passed away. Move our attention from the real crap. So, I used to go to a lot of concerts. I won't say who, Grateful Dead. And with I would speak with the people that were like the rescue squad because there were always folks needing to be rescued. And I was told that when you have a concert as large as 50,000 people, that you're guaranteed to have at least one fatality. And pretty much any concert as large as 20,000 people, it's very likely that they can expect that there will be at least one fatality. So just something to keep in mind. I think Burning Man was like 70,000 this year. So that is, oh, it's Sunset Salty. I'm not gonna read that out loud. Oh, that's crazy. That's nuts. Gotta run. Everyone have a great Labor Day. 49 watchers and 20 likes. Please remember to hit the like. Thank you, Nico. I'm gonna highlight that. And yeah, so close to being all caught up, and then we'll focus on Idaho for a few minutes before we wrap. Annie seems peculiar over there at Burning Man, but this year that festival feels a wee bit in poor taste, in my opinion, because the world is currying fire. Just saying, oh, sunset, what a magnificent point you came up with there. Very fascinating. But yeah, I mean, they plan it for a long time. Um, this is crazy, but where I lived in San Francisco when I first moved back there for graduate school was right across the street from where Burning Man actually started. It started on the beach in San Francisco. And then it moved to Nevada because it got so big. I want to say it started maybe around 1990. I had moved there in 94. So, on the Great Highway, which is the western part of the city, and Burning Man was like a sculpture that a guy was building supposedly because he got dumped and he was heartbroken. And so he was making this like art sculpture that he was intending on burning as a cathartic, therapeutic process. And all these people kept coming by and talking with him over the time that he was building it, and then they all came back to watch him burn it, and it became this thing. So it's been an annual thing for what now, 30 some years. um and it quickly turned into something else. I think just like this art, and maybe I'll just say it, like drug fest and sex fest. um it's kind of out of control in my understanding. It's just so many people out there in the desert, and it's like a week long, and people are just running around without clothes, and there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on, in my humble opinion. But anyway, thanks for that comment, Sunset. Just a little side note there. On it to Nico, Sunset Mahalo. Super late, but here we'll have replay crew. Thanks, Shan. Cult show, I think. Interesting. The Burning Man. I could see it becoming that, and it's not too far away from Truckee, as far as I know, right? Maybe like an hour or two. Um, and yeah, it is definitely like a whole culture of its own. I don't know if you texted me, but I lost my phone last night, so I'm not responding. It's not because I'm a well, I did text you, and that's cool. I mean, I know that you've got a life, and yeah, we all misplace our phones sometimes. So, sorry about that you misplaced your phone. That can be hard. I'll try calling you after we're done to see if it rings for you. Just yesterday I lost my phone and my daughter called it, and it was like literally on the shelf below where I normally set it. And I had looked at the shelf where I normally set it a bunch of times and didn't see that I had set it right below that. And it just makes you crazy sometimes, doesn't it? This is why I like to stick to my routine. I lost it in a parking lot somewhere jumping out of my car from a flying critter. Oh, a flying critter like a bee or a flying critter like a bat? Yikes. And speaking of critters, I don't know if anyone can see my little mouse there that's next to the Kylie Rodney. A big ass bug. Ay. What else do I have here, Shan? I was thinking of you. I've got this other mouse here and a little house, a mouse in a house. And oh, there's one more secret hiding thing back here. It is the tiniest Eiffel Tower you've ever seen in your life. So, yeah, all my funny little what were you saying one day that it was like I Spy? Okay, you guys. So yeah, let's talk about the Idaho 4 case a little bit more because there's been so much going on with that case. Ann Taylor making a lot of motions in the court to get the case, everything from getting the case thrown out to complaining about why she's not getting evidence handed over to her. And then the prosecution saying that they've given her all the evidence, that they don't have this evidence that she's asking for. When, in my opinion, if they don't have that evidence, then they don't have a case. Just my opinion. And I'm my opinion has gotten pretty solid that I believe that the criminal defendant is the fall guy and that he's been set up and that it's a much bigger story. I've mentioned in my last couple of videos that Mama D at 1111 Tarot. Also, you guys probably told me about, oh, what is the name of it? Divine something, another tarot channel that is also really good that you guys were trying to get me to watch for a long time. I did finally start watching it. And, I don't know that their interpretations of their tarot cards is accurate to the facts, but both of these channels are very good. And I'll put the other one in the description that I'm not remembering. Maybe I can just pull it up on my phone so that we have it right here. Um, oh, I hate it when my phone does these kinds of things. Hold on. Stop. Divine Pathways. There we go. Um, let's see. Hope you win the battle, Salty says to squirrels with the bug, the big ass bug. Yikes. Please catch me up on because I've been focused on the escaped convict in my state, Burning Man, Kylie Maui. Oh, Uh, so catch you up on the Burning Man and Kylie and Maui. Um, I have not been focused on the escaped convict in your state, but yeah, you definitely want to stay focused on that. Uh, just in case they happen to be anywhere near you. That's nuts. I'm not sure anymore if he was alone in that house. And Bearer, you're probably talking about the criminal defendant. Um, I'm not 100% convinced that he was in that house. And in general, things like what happened in the Idaho 4 case, it's absolutely not possible for one person to pull that off all by them big ol' self, even if they are a trained assassin. They usually need a getaway driver, they need a lookout, they need assistance. There's usually more than one person involved. I'd say almost always. In cases like Ted Bundy, again, you always have the anomaly. Um, let's see, your background looks lovely, sets a good vibe. Where are Kylie's parents living? Are any of her friends posting telltale secrets? Good questions, Brenda. Thank you for the compliment on the background. I love it. It's, just I have a lot of fun with it. Lock the door, salty sunset salty sage says to you, Shan, I'm sure. Hope he doesn't involve anyone in his path. No, Idaho 4, honey. Uh, oh, okay. So you've been staying focused on that guy and Burning Man, Kylie, and Maui. So yeah, the Idaho 4 case is, in my opinion, looking more and more like a sham, like Brian Koberger is the fall guy for other people. So I have said from the beginning, from the moment I heard about that case, that it would not be possible, in my opinion, for something like that to happen without being given a green light by law enforcement. That's my opinion. I've had that opinion since the moment I heard about it. what the new scoop is. Divine Pathways, she is good. I just like people that are humble and down to earth and have their feet on the ground and they're just themselves. Shan. Those are my favorite channels. Absolutely. There's a live stream Burning Man. Of course there is. I don't think one person killed those four. Yeah. I think there's so much more to the story. And I think that, like Kylie's case, that it very well could be covering for trafficking, substance trafficking, and possibly the other type of trafficking as well. And Annie says that she agrees about that squirrels, that it definitely don't think that one person did all four. You got to remember too that, you have three women, not that they're necessarily easier to attack, especially when you have numbers like that. Um, but you also have Ethan, who not only is male, but he's like 6'4", you guys. But all three of the females, I think, were probably extremely wily and feisty and would fight for their lives. And we know that at least two of them did. So we know that uh, Kaylee and Xana fought to their passing. But I can't imagine Ethan, unless he was asleep or um, drugged or already compromised or deceased. I just can't imagine that he would have been easy to overpower. I really can't imagine that any of them would have been easy to overpower. And why would you have two people untouched? And why would you have law enforcement acting like it's no big deal that they didn't call for 8 hours, acting like it's no deal at all that it took 4 hours for the lead detectives to show up? That's out of control, crazy. Like that whole department needs to be investigated. And you think about what we've learned about um, Pullman PD and Wazoo PD, and even with Moscow PD, although it's not quite as shady, in my opinion, from what we've discovered. But think about what could possibly be the history there with the Vegas PD. Think about what could be the history with the Maui PD, you guys. Unfortunately, there is a tendency for law enforcement at times to abuse their power and to shroud themselves in secrecy and to not be held accountable for what they do. I do think he was there, but he wasn't the last one to leave. He's not 100% innocent, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I think that he could actually be 100% innocent, but I also agree that he might not be. Um, but I do think he's probably 100% innocent of the unaliving, but he might have been involved on some level, knowing or unwittingly. I wonder if Jacket was Maddie's. Cops left it, checked pockets. Yeah, very good question, Annie Ruler. Very good question. Um, let's see. Clearly, Brian is being framed, but seems he may know something more. Well, and the whole thing with the DNA profiling and, them saying that they had this teeny tiny strand of a DNA and then they processed it and then they sent it to Texas. Like, no, when you process it, the processing it consumes it. So that's nuts. And I am concerned about that case. Was it in Georgia, the woman that was attacked and found in the tunnel, and just what they're doing with the DNA, trying to find her unaliver? Um, I am concerned that that could segue into the whole situation with the DNA with Brian Koberger. That they can say, oh, look, we did it over here. So it's totally, we did it right here too. You know what I mean? I don't know if any of you viewers are drawing parallels between the two, potentially, just potentially. Um, let's see. I don't know if they convict him beyond a reasonable doubt, they're going to need 99% DNA match and some footage for it to stick. Well, and of course, they would have all kinds of footage of him driving around in whatever vehicle he was driving around in that night. Um, there's got to be a lot of footage that they're not sharing. I mean, just traffic cams, you guys, not to mention businesses and residences. Um, yeah, there's a lot of information that's not been shared or touched on. Um, from an outsider, it looks like a blame and frame job from inside sources. Squirrels, I am so glad that you are an outsider so that you can just state that as fact, because for you it is, because you haven't been paying that much attention to that case, is what you've shared with me. And yeah, it absolutely reeks of an inside job. And any situation like that is usually an inside job, period, in my humble opinion. Hi all, I've missed so much. Sandra? Yeah, we are well over an hour and looking at wrapping up. So I want to thank you guys again for being here. I feel a few white sedan laps were unmarked cop cars. Rosie obsessed, heard he has two red labradoodles now and not on force. Red labradoodles was Murphy a red labradoodle? Um, yeah, I thought that Murphy was more like a brownish, tan, sandy colored labradoodle. But yeah, if he did get two labradoodles after this case, that would be really weird. Um, so Kaylee and Jack adopting Murphy a year prior to this. I don't understand why they would have adopted a dog when they both lived in student housing that, or not like student housing, but you know what I mean, housing rented to students that didn't allow dogs. Like, that's just bizarre. But, I guess people do what they want to do, right? I'm curious about the one survivor, her part in it. Um, well, we've got the two non-witness survivors. And yeah, I think that they both played parts in it. Who is Rosie? Nico asked. So that's Rosendale. That's the tall, slender law enforcement official who took the photograph of Kaylee's ID at the non noise complaint. Apparently they didn't have a call for a noise complaint to 1122. They had a call for the noise complaint to 1127 where Jack D lived. And then they just, it's on their own body cam that they're like, hey, let's go see the hot chicks over there. Um, but then they said they had a noise complaint, I think, in that body cam. They really outed themselves. They said a lot of crazy stuff, like that they knocked on the door and nobody came and that's why they trespassed. And no, they didn't knock on the door. They yelled up to the window, but they just trespassed. And yeah. Let's see. There's a whole lot of missing info in the Idaho 4. 100%. 100%. Interesting to Moscow PDs to discuss now. Oh, Nico, good point. We got the Moscow and the Maui. Wow. Wow, I had not thought of that. Idaho 4, blame and frame. I just watched on YouTube a video and it completely changed what I think. Never heard anyone saying Xana locked herself in the room and was talking to the unalivers. Oh, please share Bear of Love. I have not heard that at all. Um, did you know that Einen Harsh parents have a Labradoodle and an Australian Shepherd dog, and the route that Koberger took went right past Harsh's parents' house? Interesting. When they announced solved in the Idaho 4 case, my gut never said, yeah, it's solved in my appointment. He doesn't look innocent, but lots of folks don't. Right. I mean, in my opinion, he's got a lot of that weird look in his eye and weird look on his face that I think could be why they selected him. And then just with his course of study and just they probably knew him and he was probably very pompous and insulting to them. I would say that they knew him whether he got that position with Pullman PD or not, because we know he interviewed for it. So they knew of him for sure. Um, but I also want to say about the Australian Shepherd, about Buddy, that that the law enforcement said that Buddy was attacked by like wild animals, that they tried to say that that wasn't something that they needed to investigate because it was just wild animals that did it. Unless they're calling the perp a wild animal, that's a crock of BS, in my humble opinion. Um, let's see. What did Kaylee tell Adam or Maddie? What did Maddie tell Adam? But yeah, what was it that Jack Showalter already knew? Well, Alistair, you're right. Um, 52 watching, only 34 likes. Be kind and hit that like. Yes, thank you, Shan. Okay, same color Labradoodle. Sorry, typing on harder tablet today. Okay. All right. So, yeah, like the sandy color, basically. Because yeah, red Labradoodles. I don't know that I've ever seen that. That would be very pretty too. I will send you the YouTube channel to watch in comments at end. I just came across this today. Thank you, Bear of Love. I appreciate that. Absolutely. And yeah, you probably can't put the link in the comments, but if you put the information, then either one of the mods or myself can link it. Never heard the name Xana before. One horrible case after another gives red flags for me. Ew, Sunset. What an excellent point. Yeah, I think a lot of us were stunned by the similarities of like Kaylee and Kylie, Maddie and Mags. Absolutely. Um, those video crazy. E made his way in or tossed in. Papa Murphy shows map with E in hallway by staircase. Just realized Murphy and Papa Murphy JD. Oh man, Annie Ruler. Wow. Yeah. And the whole thing with so many people want to screw around on social media and just be weird when it's hard enough to figure this stuff out without those random people that are just putting information out on social media to be funny or to get attention or for their own entertainment or whatever. But also they might just be trying to muddy the water. I will leave it at end, no bother. That's what I will do. Thank you, Bear. Maddie, not Kaylee. I went I want to know what was told. Brenda, me too. I do want to know what was told. I have never fully believed that that audio was authentic to the video. I've always suspected that it could have been spliced onto it. But in the event that I'm wrong, and in the event that it is authentic, then whatever it was that she told Adam, hoodie guy already knew what it was and what it meant, because then he said, "Oh, they're going to get you for that." And then a couple hours later, the whole tragedy happens. So, yeah, that is cray cray. I don't believe in coincidence. In my opinion, Xana here, Xana there, both where folks aren't alive anymore. Two coincidental folks. Yeah. Yeah. I am with you on that, Sunset. Yeah, too many coincidences. And Showalter is skilled animal cleaner. Getting kicked out was from unaliving coyotes and posing inappropriate. Um, Right. And, we can't overlook that the lead detective, Payne, is also a skilled animal cleaner and hunter and butcher. Um, my red flag meter says, oh, hell no. Project Mockingbird is very real. I'll leave it at that. Okay, Shan, and I'm going to wrap up. So I appreciate that. Is uh that's got me extremely curious. So I'm gonna have to wrap up because we've gone for almost an hour and a half, and I just realized that I've got things on my schedule that I got to get to. So thanks again for being here, you guys. I appreciate you so much. Sending you light, sending you love. I hope you have a fabulous national holiday and can relax and get some good exercise, good nutrition, good hydration, take really good care of yourself. Be productive if you feel like it. Sometimes just relaxing and vegging, I think, can be the most productive thing that we can do for ourselves. So thanks. JD has friends at Wazoo. Per Kim, did one have access to BK Lab for DNA? PR said E in hallway. Students stage and clean. I'm here to help you. E placed in their leading to. Thank you. Great live. Thanks, you guys. Again, I'm going to stay. Peace out. Stay beautiful. Don't be mean. I hope that I'm never mean, except to meanies, of course. But even like I said in my last video, sometimes killing them with kindness is the best thing you can do. But that's kind of a mean spirited kindness, in my opinion. So you got to fight fire with fire. No pun intended with all of this crap going on with these fires. Blessings and love to all. You guys, peace out. Have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks again and see you on the next one. Take care.